Welcome back to the farm, everybody. It is Saturday, June 22nd, and it's blackberry season here on the farm. You see, I'm out here, I'm all geared up. I've got my chaps on, and I've got my machete. I've got to go through here and pick some berries. We've got some berry orders that came in this week. We're going to go get them picked today so we can get them out and delivered today. But we're going to have a busy day. There's a lot of things going on. We still haven't had any rain now, and today is 18 days without any rain. And as far as the berries go, the berries are starting to dry up on the cane, unfortunately, because of just lack of rainfall. I mean, it's not good. We need rain badly, and there's still no rain in the forecast for the next few days. So seriously need rain, and we can't do anything. These are all wild berries. They're not irrigated. They've never been fertilized, never been sprayed, never been treated, anything. So, you know, everything here is just kind of at the mercy of the rain. Even our garden that I'm going to go to after I get through picking berries here, when I get down there, we went to get the drip lines set up to irrigate or to water the beans and different things, and the water line from the well was broken. I think I talked about that in the previous video. But you know, so we're depending on rain. Amazingly, the garden is still doing very well considering we haven't had any rain. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. First, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to push my way down here in to start picking berries. See, this is just one of the paths that I keep maintained in between the berries for picking. I think I have about 2,000 feet of rows mowed off for picking, but then I've got, you know, just like here beside me, which I'll pan around and show you in a little bit, I just put my gear on and I just push into the berries and I pick down inside the berries or down inside the briars and everything. So just do what I can to get as much as we can pick. So I'm gonna get in here and start picking. I really appreciate you guys for following along on this. You know, I didn't know whether to do this weekly series, but I had a lot of people telling me that they wanted to see more of kind of the day-to-day, what goes on the farm on a weekly basis. And so I decided to do this weekly series. So drop a comment below, let me know what you think, if you're enjoying the weekly series or not. If you haven't yet, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified every time we release a new video, then you can hit that bell and they'll send you an email, or it'll pop up on your app, either one. So I'm gonna get in here and get to picking some berries. So let's go. Well, I had to stop. I started I got so stinking hot over there. These chaps that I had my chaps on and my gaiters on, and those are very thick brush chaps, and I don't know that they would withstand it. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't withstand a snake, but you know, thankfully we don't really have to worry about that for the most part here. 2 gallons here. There's another 1.5 over at the house right now. So we're gonna get ready to deliver these to one of our repeat customers that we have. A little bit about our blackberry business and how we run it here. You know, when we first started, we started off going to the farmers markets, and we still will occasionally go to the farmers market doing blackberries now, but it just got to where the people coming to the farmers market, they kind of wanted to come in, they wanted to haggle with you over the price, and you know, it never failed. We had people come in and say, can you guarantee that they're organic and bug-free? And you know, you just kind of scratch your head and say, okay, they're 100% wild, they're natural, they've never been fertilized, they've never had any herbicide or pesticide sprayed on them, they grow in pasture fields. But because we don't treat them for anything, we can't say that they're bug-free. And concept is lost on much of society. People get so wrapped up in all this stuff that they see on social media, and they get scared because of worried about larvae being in the blackberries and that sort of stuff. And I mean, it's just, number one, you can't have it both ways. You can't want organic, all natural, and then also be 100% bug free. I mean, that just doesn't exist. So we kind of get tired of dealing with that kind of stuff. So we've really gone to a custom order basis. And you know, if we have berries left over at the end of our custom orders at the end of the week, then we'll go to the farmers market and set up and sell. But really what we do is we're doing, for the most part, you know, I'll say 2 gallons or more per customer. If somebody calls us and wants 2 gallons or more, then we'll take it to them. The other thing was, when you're at the farmer's market, you always had people come through, and they'd, like I said, they'd try to haggle you and talk you down in your price, and we're already cheaper than the area stores, and they wanted to talk you down more because they're wild berries. And we started asking them, well, if they grow wild everywhere around here, why don't you just go pick them yourself? And they're like, well, I don't want to mess with bees, I don't want to mess with spiders, I don't want to mess with snakes. They have thorns, and I'm like, well, if you don't want to do it, then stop complaining about the price. So anyway, that's kind of how we do our berry business, and it works really well for us here with the volumes that we typically pick and the local customers. So I'm gonna get these over here and get all the arrangements set up for my wife to go meet the lady, Catherine, and get her blackberries. And then I gotta get the tiller loaded up, and I gotta head down to the garden and start working down there. It's a little bit cloudy today, thankfully. There's some, partly cloudy kind of skies, so hopefully that'll help not make me die of sweat down there in the garden. But I'm going to change out of these pants, and I'm going to get some shorts on so you guys can see my extremely white legs while I'm down there in the garden. So sorry about that, and I will see you at the garden. So we're down in the garden now. You see back there behind me, we did finish getting the trellis put up. The beans are coming along really well, actually, considering they haven't had any rain for 18 days. Tomatoes, we're having to come down and water them about every other day, so they're limping along, but they've really started coming on a lot in the past, 4 or 5 days. They've grown a lot, but beans I'm just shocked at how well the beans are looking. After we came down here and weeded everything, and then we didn't get to weed the white half runner, so there's quite a bit of weeds coming up in between them, but they're starting to climb the trellis now, so that's a good thing. The corn is doing really well as well, considering we haven't had any rain. So the one thing I think that's saving us is that we have a heavy dew every night, and when I come out down here in the morning, the ground is damp and muddy just from the dew, even though it's not raining. So that's kind of typical for this area. The really high humidity, we get down below dew point every single night. Dew falls, everything gets a good wetting. It's you're talking hundredths of an inch of water is what it is every night. It's not even 1/10 of an inch, but if it does that every night, at least it allows there to be some moisture. And then the weed mat over there, when I pulled it back the other day to clean underneath the weed mat, I was shocked to see how much moisture was still underneath the weed mat, especially the weed mat that I put in the second time, which was just the cheap Sam's Choice weed mat. It's a lot thicker, it allows a lot less airflow through it, and doesn't allow any sunlight to come through, and it's holding moisture really well. Those tomatoes on the other side at that weed mat are doing even better. So I'm gonna get the tiller out. I'm gonna till between the rows here. I brought my hoe down. I'm gonna try to hoe the rest of the weeds out here, but I mean, it's like 90 degrees. It's 10:15. The truck said 88 degrees driving down here. You can see up on the hillside. That's where I was at, up there picking berries this morning. You see part of my road that I mow off. That's for us to drive down to the bottom of the hill to pick berries up on the hillside. But so I was up there just a while ago. It is 10:15. Like I said, truck said it's 88 degrees. Sun is high and bright. There is a little breeze, thankfully, now. It actually feels a lot more humid today, so I'm optimistic that we may get an afternoon shower or thunderstorm come through, as long as it's not a hard storm that has a lot of winds that could damage some stuff, or flooding with substantial rain coming down in a short time period. I'm optimistic that we can get some rain. But I'll get the tiller out. I'm gonna get started here, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Good Lord, it is hot out here. Man, I am back up at my house now. I had to just stop. This camera was getting hot. I was dripping wet and I couldn't keep going back and forth, you know, getting everything framed up, taking video, doing what I was doing, running back and forth. It was just taking too much time. I was afraid it was going to overheat. Finished up in the garden down there, loaded up everything. Now I'm back up at my house now. And I just went inside to get a drink and check on things. The thermometer on the weather station on my back porch says it's 92 degrees on my back porch in the shade right now, with a 96 degree heat index right now. That's in the shade on the porch. So out in the sun where I was at, I mean, who knows? That sun probably added quite a bit of, I mean, it definitely made it hotter for sure. But the other thing is, up here at my house, you can see behind me, there's a little bit of breeze blowing. There's no breeze down in the valley, down where the garden is at. I mean, it is just dead calm down there. I was actually, while I was working down there, I could hear the trees up here moving and blowing, and I was like, what is going on? There's no wind anywhere. But now that I'm back up here on top of the ridge, there is wind up here. You see back here behind me the peach tree. You see those balls hanging up back there? We were having problems with crows coming in here, and they were just destroying all of our apples on our apple trees. They probably robbed 70% of the apples off the apple trees already, and they're still 2 months out from being ripe probably. They were starting to get in the peach tree as well. My neighbor who has the big peach orchard, 125 or so peach trees, he told me, he said, buy some of these balloon beach ball looking things that have the eyes or whatever they are. They're not eyes, but I'll give you a close-up of them here in a minute. He said put those out, and that'll keep the crows and the raccoons and all kinds of stuff away. So he's been using them for 2 years. He uses them even over his corn. And so he's been using them for 2 years, and he swears by them. So I bought some, and I will let you know as we get further into the season if it's working. But I will say they've been up for nearly a week now, and I have not seen any crows or even squirrels in the peach tree. So they may be working. I don't know. We'll see. The peaches are almost ripe. They are almost ready. And I mean, Taryn picked a couple off that were starting to get a little bit of softness to them. Not quite ready, but they're getting close. I am heading out of town here tomorrow for work, and so I'm not going to be around here to mess with checking the peaches or picking them. So I'm going to have to depend on my son or daughter or my dad or somebody to come up here maybe and check on and keep the peaches, you know, under control. But anyway, I think that may be it. One thing I may do here to close the video out is I haven't shown the potato garden in a while, so we're going to go over to my parents' house in a little bit, and that's where the potato garden's at. So I'll probably just take the camera over there and I'll give you a potato garden update, and then that'll probably be it for this video, I think, unless something else comes up that I'm not thinking of now. So we will see you at the potato garden in just a few minutes. Alright, it's been a few hours since that last clip. I was getting things loaded to come down here to the potato garden. You see it back here behind me. And I was inside and got stuff together, came out, started getting the truck, checked the temperature on my weather station, and the heat index was 99 degrees. And I said, I'm not messing with that right now. I've got other things to do here around the house. So I turned around, went back inside, started doing some stuff there. But here is the potato garden. I talked to Dad earlier. He brought the tractor tiller down here today, and he tilled this whole other side over here. We're going to probably just put this out. We're going to keep this maintained until August, and then we're going to probably sow this as just a giant potato patch, or a giant turnip patch, so we can have a bunch of greens and turnips and daikon radish, probably those sort of things. But the potatoes, it's kind of weird if you look at them. The 2 rows on the left are a different variety than the 3 rows on the right, and the 2 rows on the left are greener than these on the right. So the ones here on the right, I'm just walking down the road looking here. Amazingly, I don't see any potato beetles anywhere. And normally by now, the potato beetles would have already started hitting these things hard and stripping the leaves off of them. I take that back. There are 4 plants right here that the leaves are all gone off of, but I don't see any beetles anywhere. So that's good. Looks like we don't really have a big infestation of potato beetles this year. Maybe the turkeys are dealing with them, because I look back here behind me, and right down there is a turkey dusting spot. So the wild turkeys have been in here in the garden dusting, And if they've been walking up and down these rows, it's possible that they were eating the potato beetles off the plants for us. So it's beneficial to have them around here, to have the turkeys here. You know, if you watch our other channel, you know that we hunt and we eat whatever we kill here. And so turkeys being one of those things. So it's beneficial to have them here, one, for a food source, but two, if they can help keep the insect pests at bay as well. So, all right, that's it. I'm gonna head back up to the house here. The College World Series is on right now, and they're all up here watching the game and waiting for me to get back. So thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, I really appreciate if you go in and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment. Spider web, oh man, it's all over the camera. Jeez. Anyway, I'm gonna get up here. Drop a comment. Let me know how your garden's doing. Thank you for watching so much. Have a blessed day.